So it's my privilege to introduce head coach of the Ole Miss Rebels, Lane Kiffin.
Hey guys, good to be here. Commissioner actually reminded me when he saw Knox, I went up and said hi to Knox. You know that Knox needs to earn his scholarship because the commissioner's fine last year. I think I tweeted that Knox's college fund is gone thanks to the fine there. So it's good to see Commissioner, and it's good to be here. I guess it was 12 years ago. I barely remember it. Lots happened since then. And, 12 years from being here and seeing everybody. And this has been a long year. Last year ended well. We're excited in the momentum that we built, and we feel it in the fan base. We feel it with our players. It's been good to have recruiting back open, so that kids can come be around us, and I think we've created some momentum there. So we got a lot of challenges. First off, defensively, improving from last year. I do think signing a lot of kids in the offseason that were mid-years and really having our first spring. I think if you look around the country, first-year staffs really struggled, especially on defense. And so we'll look to improve there. We've got a lot of good players coming back on offense, led by the quarterback. So challenged to get him to play. I think he played as well as anybody in the country at times last year. In the notes coming in, reading them, I guess he was first in the country in total offense per game last year, which I didn't even realize. So it shows the level he can play at. Now he's got to do it more consistent. And I saw in those stats too, we were first in the conference in rushing a year ago, so we need to continue to build off of that regardless of the quarterback. Even though I know a lot of times people think we just throw the ball wherever we've been, we're at our best when we run the ball, and I think have done that really well at times. So with that, questions?
Thank you, Coach. If you have a question, raise your hand. Please give your name and affiliation. We will get a microphone to you. All right, we're going to start over here on the left-hand side. Parrish, right here on the end of the aisle.
Parrish Alford, Daily Journal in Tupelo. Lane, you mentioned that Matt played as well as anybody in the country at times. How do you and Jeff help him become more consistent?
Well, good to see you, Parrish. I think that, again, having a spring finally with him, he's never had a second year of a system. I think has been good for him. I think that, we were still trying to figure out ourselves too without having a spring, not just him, but our offense. We didn't know if he was going to be the starting quarterback, when we went into camp. So Anna was the first year working with Coach Levy. And, so putting that all together is a challenge. And I think, where we've been a lot of times, we've seen sometimes as a year ago that help our players in our first year. So he's done a great job from a leadership standpoint. He's a very confident kid. And so we got to get him to play more consistent. Because like we said, he played great at times and he played really poorly at times. And I think a lot of people forget with that too, that it was his first year as a starter. So we know what to build off and we know what it should look like.
Coach, we'll go down here front left. Bob?
Hey, Lane, Bob Holt, Arkansas Democrat Gazette. Yeah, follow up on Matt. Obviously, that Arkansas game was very atypical. Looking back on it, what do you think happened to him? Why did he have all those interceptions, and how did he recover from that? Because a lot of guys, they have a game like that, maybe they lose all their confidence.
I think it says a lot about him that he was able to recover from that. I get asked all the time about, why didn't we pull him? And I've just always believed that you're really slow to do that because you get in the pulling the quarterbacks and back and forth and their confidence is lost, and it's not like another position. When you're the leader of it and you got to take the ball every single snap, if your confidence is rattled and, floating different guys in there. So I'm glad we stayed with him. He learned a lot from it. And, that's sometimes you got to have obstacles. I've referenced obstacles the way. That's as good as it gets right there. Throw the ball to the other team 6 times. That's a pretty big obstacle. And so he learned a lot from that. And that was coming off an Alabama game 7 days before of playing extremely well. So it's a lesson for all of our players. You got to go back to work and be humble.
Coach, we're going to go back here. It's bright light right over on the far right along the wall.
Blake Tommeyer, USA Today Network. Lane, another quarterback question for you. At this event 12 years ago, you brought your All-SEC ballot to prove you voted for Tim Tebow as preseason All-SEC quarterback. I was curious, who would be your pick this year for preseason All-SEC quarterback?
All right. I didn't even remember that 12 years ago, but now that you say that, because I believe there was something about someone didn't have Tebow first team All-SEC, and as usual, I was accused of that. So I brought my ballot to show everyone, to show Urban. So what was the second part of the question? You got me all off. Now we're back to Urban Meyer and Tebow and singing Rocky Top in the Swamp all night long. That part. Okay.
Who would be your vote for
be the vote
this year?
I would say our own quarterback in Matt. Statistically played as well as anybody in the country, and I guess, and like I said in the stats, reading them in my notes from our SID, only four quarterbacks ever have led, SEC quarterbacks have led the country in yards per game. So to me, that just shows how good he can be if he's consistent.
Coach, we're going to go right here in the center.
Yeah, Lane, Tony Sakalas, Bama Insider. After last year's game against Alabama, how close do you feel like your team is to beating them, and what would that mean to be the first assistant to beat Nick Saban if it so happened?
Well, I don't look at it at all about being the first assistant or, whatever that stat is. We were close, played really well on one side of the ball, but that doesn't matter now. The year before, I think we lost 66-3 or something like that. So every year is different. Every year has new challenges. I said at some interview on the way in here, the discussion was about Alabama and Coach Saban and, the parity in college football. And I said, he's done it different than anybody's ever done it and better than anybody's ever done it. And no disrespect to the coaches back before. There's not supposed to be parity, with 85 scholarships and 25 a year. My dad tells me the stories of coming in and having 75 freshmen, in his class coming in. So, to do what he's doing nowadays, and every year, you guys say something that upsets him and gives him rat poison and makes him mad, and then we have to deal with that. So I don't know what the storyline is this year. It'd be something that you did about losing too many staff guys or the quarterback or whatever, but he just finds a way, and it starts with recruiting. He just does such a phenomenal job of recruiting, and so when you got the best players, and you got to go against them, that's enough challenge, let alone before you even get into how great he is as a coach.
Coach, we're going to go over here to our left.
Off with WCBI TV in Columbus, Mississippi. How are you kind of expecting Dontario to take a step forward this year, and how big of a role is he going to play in your offense?
I think that, we can use him inside and outside, and made plays for us last year, very strong hands. Can play special teams. I think he'll be an elite special teams player at the next level. Unique ability to do that and strength. So, that's going to be a challenge for us with these receivers, who's playing where, moving them around. We have Plumlee in the mix to figure out what we're doing with him exactly. And, that could be a number of things.
Coach, we'll go here in the center section along the right-hand side here, about 3 rows back.
Lane, Mike Rodak with AL.com. Today, Nick Saban said that his quarterback has earned almost $1 million so far in NIL deals. How have you seen that play out with recruiting and the potential for other schools, brands to earn players some money?
Thank you. That number just blew me away. So you didn't prepare me for that. That's amazing. You made $1 million and hadn't started a game yet? Wow. I mean, I don't even know what to respond to that, but great for him. It is neat that players can make money now and profit, off of their hard work and what basically everybody else in America gets to do. So, I'm excited about it. I think it's very challenging trying to figure out how these things happen and what's legal and what's not and all that. So I was asked earlier about it. I said, I'm excited for it. I wouldn't want to be compliance departments, but $1 million. Ooh.
Coach will stay in the center section right in front of us, midway back.
Elaine, Brooks Cabina from The Advocate. You're talking about point totals. The LSU game, 101 points. I mean, with the surge of successful offenses in the SEC, do you find that it's harder to find an advantage in a game, a leg up, and how do you approach that?
Well, I think part of that's analytics and just understanding how games are going. And again, when you follow it, and then if you have a team, like we were, where we were a lot better on offense and defense a year ago, you got to be really aggressive, and you're aggressive in your game plans, and it's not just fourth downs, that may be fakes, tricks, and taking more shots down the field, at times playing more aggressive on defense, knowing, hey, there's a good chance they're scoring, so let's actually play more aggressive, to try to create a turnover versus let them move down the field. So it's not something you want to have. You obviously want to play really well on offense and play well on defense, that you don't have to think that way. And that's what we're working to do.
We'll stay in the center section along the aisle here, about halfway back.
Hey, Lane, Matt St. Jean, WTVA in Tupelo. During the offseason, you accepted a challenge from Dabo Sweeney to play him in one-on-one. I was wondering if a date was set and what your strategy would be going against Dabo in one-on-one, ones and twos to 21.
I think our basketball coach said that. I don't know that I exactly accepted it. I don't know. I've seen video of Dabo. He does shoot the ball well, very quick. He did FaceTime me, actually, from Boca Grande, actually, a couple weeks ago, because he heard I was coming down there when he was down there, where he and Coach Saban stay. But he was golfing, not playing basketball, with his son and the Raiders receiver. So we actually didn't talk about basketball. But I'm trying, man. I'm trying to lose some weight, so I got a chance against him.
All right, we'll go center section over on the right-hand side.
Coach, Drew DeArmond, WZZN Radio in Huntsville, Alabama. We could tell you were frustrated last year defensively with the lack of being able to get stops in the offseason, now that you guys have had a spring. But take us kind of inside the staff room with you and DJ Durkin and Chris Partridge. What was the game plan to try to get better defensively so you guys can take a step up in the Western Division?
Well, I think we just, we struggled in all areas on defense last year. Now, on a good thing, we did play well in the bowl game, so, that's how we ended the year, and hopefully we take off from there. But it was just challenging, whether it was injuries or different guys, trying to learn a system and 3-4 and 4-3 and all things. But also, you're playing all SEC games, so you don't have any non-conference games. One helps statistically sometimes, but also to see early on in the year, how guys play and being able to play your backups, hopefully, in a game like that. And we didn't have that. And then now you're playing SEC offenses every week. And it's also a year of some great offenses, really elite players. So it was very challenging.
Okay, we'll go center section, third row first. Go ahead.
Yeah, Coach Ole Buchanan with TexAgs.com. It's my understanding that Jerrion Ely has, I think, shoulder surgery. How's he coming back from that, and what's his status?
I'm still blown away on this Bryce Young. Like, you guys made $1 million already? That's good, man. He don't need to play next year against us. Then, I mean it's mind-blowing. Well, Ely's fine. He's been working out with the team, and we're excited to have a fall with him where now that we know more about him, having a season, that we could maybe move him around and do some different things.
We have 3 in the queue. We'll start in the middle section, right in the middle. Stand up.
Nick Kelly with the Tuscaloosa News. Coach, you seem to enjoy tweeting about Coach Saban especially. Do you know if he's seen your tweets or what his reaction's been?
Well, he's certainly not on Twitter. We know that. Now, Linda, his assistant, is probably prints them out, especially the ones that he may not like. And so he probably does see those. But I think it's all in fun. I think you guys know that are around enough covering us, how much respect I have for him, how grateful I am, for him hiring me in the 3 years together with him and for what that did for my career. But the respect, and like I said, nobody's done it like he's doing it ever. And with the scholarships, it should be an asterisk compared to what was done before. No disrespect to other coaches.
We've got time for 2 more. We're going to start here on the right-hand side of the center aisle.
Connor O'Gara, Saturday Down South. Lane, you said you're trying to lose some weight besides not maybe indulging in so much Mississippi food. I know you tweeted about that. What else have you done, and what have been the results so far?
Strange question to ask a guy, I feel like, but you're being negative about Mississippi food. I'm going to be positive. It's a Mississippi diet. So I came to Mississippi, I embraced the food, and just not a lot of it, and have some portion control. So that's not really what the diet was, but I'm going to be positive about the food in Mississippi.
All right, we'll go down here to Bob for the last question right here in the second row.
Yeah, well, if it's okay, I was going to ask a two-parter, if that's okay. Lane, if you could follow up, talk about Matt. I mean, what are his real strengths? What are you expecting for the next step for him this season? And then is your dad going to be an analyst again? And if so, what does that add? And how's your dad doing?
Did you say Matt? Yeah, we expect Matt to play better, be more consistent, limit turnovers, take care of the ball better. My dad's doing well. Thanks for asking. He just had a press conference, I think last week, going into the Bucks Ring of Honor, which is an awesome thing. And just watching that press conference, seeing the old clips of him coaching at Tampa and how the players, Derek Brooks, Rondé Barber, Sapp, how they talk about him. It's just really neat. I texted him after that, just make sure that he knew how much I respect him and appreciate him and love him, and how unique that is. He changed people's lives, by how he coached them and how he cared about them. So it's awesome to have him around. He's, I think, 81, and he's still there, first one in the office every day. Pretty cool example for young coaches.